Hey guys, welcome back to another video with Victoria Grace. A few months ago I promised that I would finish a part 2 of the question and answer, which I never really got to. So today I am here to finish the questions of part 2. I have the exact same paper that I had before, and I will be answering the rest of the questions. So the first question is, when you first came to Japan, did you have a lot of culture shock? And yes and no. Obviously Canada and Japan, there's a big culture shock difference, but it wasn't really right away. I think it was over the course of a few months that I did feel a culture shock. I remember at first, I didn't feel like I was here. I remember my first day of school, I was like, okay, now I'm in Japan. But the first 2 weeks before school started, it didn't really seem like I was in Japan. Yeah, and stuff, I heard a different language around me, but I remember at school and all the girls were freaking out that I was there, and it was something that I was not used to, something I'd never experienced before. That was definitely when I was like, oh my god. And then I was like, what have I signed up for? What am I doing here? Why am I going to be here for a year? And then it kind of got a little scary at first. But yeah, with culture shock, the food and stuff is kind of different. The way people act is different. I found for me as well, just taking your shoes on and off. They always have that area in the front of the house or in the front of the school where it's considered the outside, and your shoes can't come past a certain point. And they're pretty strict with that. I remember at first I didn't really understand, and sometimes I'd wear my shoes just a little bit past the line, and I'd get yelled at, and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, because I didn't really know. There's little things like that, or just all the bowing and stuff. Remember when I first came, bowing just seemed so unnatural for me, and now I've been in Japan for pretty much 9 months now, and I bow out of command. I don't even think about bowing anymore. I'm so used to bowing. And so yeah, little things like that are definitely different from what they are back home. The next question is, was it sad leaving your family and friends back home? And yes, it was definitely sad. I think when you said goodbye, you know you're not going to see them for about a year. And just the idea of a year, it sounds like a long time, and now that I've been here for a while, I mean, yes and no, it is a long time. Sometimes day by day it seems slow and long, but looking back at it, I've already been here for 9 months, and I only have a couple of months to go. It's definitely crazy. But yeah, it is sad, but thanks to FaceTime and stuff like that, it's really easy to stay in contact with your family and friends back home. So really, it's not that bad. Everything is gonna be the same pretty much when I go back to Canada. But yeah, it was definitely sad saying goodbye, but whatever. Do you have to redo a school year, and are you getting credits? So when I go back to Canada, I'm gonna have to redo a school year. I am right now, this is my grade 12 year, so when I go back to Canada, I'll have to finish my grade 12 year, which I haven't really started. And I'm not getting any credits for being here. I know a few of the other exchange students are doing online courses, so they just do that after school and stuff on their own. I'm not doing the online courses. I thought about it, but I really wanted more just to focus on the Japanese language and just kind of focus on myself here instead of having to worry about doing courses and stuff back home. And I'm totally okay with going back and having to finish a year. And I think out of all the experiences and all that kind of stuff here that you're getting, it's worth it going back and being a year behind all your friends and stuff, and everything you are getting out of this year. Was it awkward your first few days in Japan? Yes. I remember when I first got here, I was so jet lagged, I barely slept on the plane. And I would say my first morning here, I think I woke up at 1 a.m. and I didn't know what to do. Obviously my family was asleep and stuff like that. I remember I just laid in my room for a few hours until it was morning time, until I heard people up. And then it's so weird just walking downstairs and just being good morning, and then your family feed you breakfast and you're still so out of it. And honestly, when I first got here, I was really scared. They say you go through the honeymoon phase the first 3 weeks, and you're just in love with everything. And I would say I didn't really have that at first. At first, I was more what have I done? Why am I here? Why have I chose this? I would say probably after a month, I kind of went through that honeymoon phase. But yeah, my first few weeks here, it was overwhelming to say the least. It was just very different. I kind of was double guessing myself, did I really want to come here? What have I done and stuff like that. So yeah, it was kind of awkward in the beginning. Luckily, my first host family, I had 2 host sisters who both went to America on exchange. One who's my age and one who's 2 years older than me. So they both spoke English because I really didn't know much Japanese when I got here, which was helpful. And they also too, they understand what you're going through. They went through the exact same thing that I'm going through, being with like host families, being in a country and you literally know no one. But yeah, it definitely is awkward. And also too, switching host families, the first few days it's always weird. Remember the first time I switched host families? I'm now on my 5th host family. The first time I switched host families, we packed up everything and my host mom dropped me off at my second host family's house, and I only met the wife and the daughter once before, and I barely talked to them before, and here I am just getting dropped off at their house. I'd been at my first host family's house for 3 months, and I fell in love with them, and they were absolutely amazing. And then just one day, just everything changed, everything you're used to in this country just not being there and being changed. It was definitely awkward, and you just also too, it's a whole new routine you have to get used to, a whole new everything, how they run their house and stuff like that. It's definitely a change, but after a few days I would say you get used to it pretty quickly. Did you set up a bank account or anything like that? I did not. I know a few of the other kids in previous years have done that, but I did not do anything like that. I have a debit and credit card here, and they have both worked. I have had a few like credit card issues. Sometimes it won't let me take out money because my account in Canada has been cancelled or something like that, or sometimes if I go to take out too much money at once, the Canada account, they just cancel it thinking someone has like hacked my card or whatever. So definitely little things like that. It's kind of been stressful. I've had a few stressful times where I'm like, I just need money. But no, I haven't had to set up anything like that. Were you excited for your first day of high school? I was so excited for my first day of high school. So I got here in August and I started school September 1st, and I had about 2 weeks before I started school. And the first 2 weeks I was here, it wasn't boring, but I was still like getting used to the time change, and my host family was like all at work and they all have their own stuff going on. And for the first 2 weeks here, I kind of just sat at home for a while, like not a while, but I didn't do much the first 2 weeks. I was excited to start school and start actually like doing something. But yeah, I was really excited to start school. My first day of school, I had to do 3 speeches, all in Japanese, which I was kind of scared for. Remember my first day of school, I think I had like a few tears running down my cheeks because I was so nervous, but I was so excited at the same time. But yeah, I was definitely excited, although I was like, oh, are the kids gonna like me? Like, are they gonna be nice to me? Are they just gonna be like hi, bye type situation, not really like talk to me? But yeah, the girls are all really nice. The boys are kind of shy, and sometimes the girls too. They were really shy at first, but now that they're really used to me, they're really nice, and they're all like going. We always laugh all the time together. How do you get around the school? So I am a Rotary kid, Rotary Youth Exchange kid, and Rotary pays for a bus pass that I can go pretty much anywhere in the city for free, which is really nice of them. So yeah, I take buses most of the time. There are trains and stuff. There's no subways in my city, so I either walk or I take the bus. And I've taken a train a few times, but I can take the bus to all my host family's houses, which is nice and convenient. Do you have internet at school? So there is internet at school, but I can't use it on my phone or anything like that. It's locked and it's only for the teachers and the staff. But most of the other students, they all have like a cellular plan, so they can all like text and call, and I didn't get a phone plan while I was here. So I pretty much like I'm on airplane mode this entire time in this country. But in the school library there are computers, and those are hooked up to the Wi-Fi, so if I do want to use Wi-Fi at school, I go to the computers in the library, which I do pretty much every day. Yeah, so that is what I do for Wi-Fi. But yeah, pretty much on my phone I don't have Wi-Fi at all during the day. So what school year are you? So the Japanese high schools, it's 3 years. So there's Ichinense, Ninense, and Sannense, which is first year, second year, and third year. So when I got here, I was a second year, and this school year, it's a little different from North American school years. It goes from April to March, and so from April onwards I've been now a third year, which is the oldest of the school year. It honestly doesn't mean much to me just because I don't do the tests or anything like that, but yeah, so these kids in my class are now like the oldest of the school, which would be considered like a North American grade 12 year. So yeah, they're like the big kids, and it's funny now with the first years because when I first came here I had to do a speech in front of the entire school, so that everyone in the school knew there was a new exchange student coming. But the new kids, the first years, they don't know that I'm there. Or, I mean, some of them do now, but at first they didn't know that I was there. And whenever they saw me in the hallways, because I'm pretty much the only foreigner at my school, they would all freak out and be like, oh my god, you're not Japanese. So yeah, I've definitely had a few like, oh, if I go to hold the door for someone, they look up and they're like, oh my god, and they're really shy with you. So yeah, that's been funny. So the hours of school, so my school goes from 8:30, we have to be there at 8:25, but classes officially start from 8:30 and they go to 3:15 most days, and then on Tuesdays they go to 4:15. So the first 10 minutes of every day in class we have to read a book, so we pretty much sit there quietly, and then for 5 minutes the teacher goes over the schedule for the day, and then each class starts. So each class is about 50 minutes, and there's 10 minutes in between classes, and then we get about a 45-minute lunch break, I want to say 45 minutes. So there's 4 classes, lunch, and then 2 more classes, and then on Tuesdays it's 4 classes, lunch, and then 3 classes. And sometimes after school we have to clean the school. I don't always do that because I am the exchange student, and 2 times out of the week I have language lessons I need to go to, and I'm kind of rushed for time, so I don't have time to clean. But yeah, sometimes I do clean. I've cleaned everything from the classrooms to the bathrooms to the hallways, the stairs, you've named it, I've cleaned it. And before I came here I thought the cleaning process was going to be much more worse, but it's really not that bad. It never takes longer than 15 minutes, and you're paired up with a bunch of your friends normally, so it's fun. And we always laugh as we're cleaning. But yeah, sometimes it's weird cleaning the bathrooms. My first cleaning task when I got here was cleaning the bathrooms, and I was like, ew, we have to clean other people's bathrooms that they've used. But yeah, it's totally fine. The Japanese, they're really clean about that kind of stuff, which is nice, so it's never that hard to clean or anything. Can you sleep in school? Yes and no. My school, most teachers are okay with you sleeping. But there are a few teachers that I have seen that pretty much you straight up do not sleep in their class. Some classes, students are honestly too scared of the teacher to even sleep in class. And then there's other classes, sometimes the teacher's okay with you sleeping, and then sometimes if you do fall asleep, they'll do like funny things to you to get you to wake up. And then the rest of the class just looks at you and starts laughing, and then that kid's always embarrassed, so then they don't really sleep ever again in their class. But yeah, I've had teachers like throw things at students. The teacher sometimes will go around with a fan and start like fanning the student until he wakes up, and sometimes sometimes the teacher will be fanning the kid for like 1 minute, and it's funny, but you feel bad for the kid. Yeah, I don't really sleep. I don't recommend sleeping as an exchange student. Sometimes they get mad at you when they do sleep. I have fallen asleep I think twice or 3 times I've fallen asleep. But yeah, it's okay. Sometimes just don't do it on like a daily occasion or whatever, and if no one else in your class is sleeping, don't sleep. Also, is there anything you wish you packed or wish you didn't pack? I don't think there's anything I really wish I packed. I came with a lot of stuff. I came with 3 suitcases full, but 1 suitcase was pretty much host gifts. I would say if I could repack, I brought all my family's really good host gifts, and I do have a video all about host gifts up my channel. But I probably didn't need to bring like that many host gifts. I think if I could have done maybe just like the maple syrup and the pancakes and maybe like one other thing, that would have been enough. But I kind of did do a lot of host gifts, and it kind of weighed my suitcase down. So that is why I brought 3 suitcases. But yeah, there's a few things. I brought too many like socks and things like that. There's not really a ton of stuff that I wish that I brought. I'm happy I brought deodorant. In Japan, they don't really have deodorant. They have it, but it's spray stuff, and you cannot find any of like the American brands here. At least I have not seen any American brands here. But yeah, so if you're coming to Japan, I recommend bringing your own deodorant. I brought enough to last me a year, and I'm sure I'll go home with some extra. But yeah, it's been good to have my own deodorant. And if there's any little things that you want, like your own facial stuff or like any certain hair stuff that you have to use or you really enjoy using, I recommend just bringing it. But yeah, especially bring deodorant. How is the food? So the food here is actually pretty good. Before I came to Japan, if you fed me lots of kind of fish and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't have eaten it. I wouldn't say I'm a picky eater at all, but some fish I just get kind of like weirded out with. But now being here, I think when you're served every day, I will pretty much eat anything. I do not like natto, which is like a bean thing. I don't even know how to describe it. But it's this Japanese like delicacy. It's like a soybean thing, I want to say. And ikura, which is like little fish eggs. It's kind of like caviar in a way. I'll eat ikura, but it's like the texture thing, it pops in your mouth, and it's just not my favorite thing. And sometimes you get ikara at sushi restaurants. But yeah, most of the food here is really good. I did not like tofu when I came here, but now that I'm always served it in my miso soup and stuff like that, I love tofu. And when I see tofu being served for dinner now, I actually get excited. I'm like, yeah, we're eating tofu for dinner. But yeah, if you fed me tofu before I came here, I would have never eaten that. Also, I remember, I think it was in my 3rd night here in Japan, my host family for dinner gave me like an entire fish and had like the eyeball in it and everything. We didn't eat like the eyeball and stuff, but I remember just seeing the entire fish on the plate and being like, like, oh my god, like, just kind of being scared of it, or just not even know where to start to eat the fish. But yeah, if you fed me that now, I'd be totally used to it, and it's honestly really good. And last question, did you have any country stereotypes before coming here? Yes, I would say I thought we would be eating sushi every single day, and like I said just before, I wasn't a huge fish fan, so I was a little nervous with the food. But yeah, I thought we'd be eating sushi a lot. I think sushi was a big one. I can't think of any other stereotypes I really had. But yeah, definitely sushi was one of them. I can't think of other things. I thought school would be more strict. I mean, it is strict in a way, but I thought everyone was like, oh, Japanese school is so strict, so strict. And it is strict, but I thought it would be way more strict. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I answered some of your questions. If you do have any more questions, make sure to leave them down below in the comments, and I'll either do another question and answer, or I will just respond to them straight there. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.